In my last video, I talked about that vice. How much will you take? And one aspect of that is, how much are you going to limit yourself as far as knowledge? So you're only allowed to read from and only certain parts of certain material. It's only going to be those who reject that vice and pop out of it and go looking for the forbidden materials, which is ironic because what got us all into this condition to begin with was Eve being drawn to the forbidden. And some would say it's a natural thing. So what's right is wrong, what's wrong is right. Everything's upside down and inside out. What was forbidden then was from Yahweh, and now instead what's forbidden is what Yahweh wants us to understand. So we have to want the truth more than we want the lie, because what got us into it was the desiring of the lie. And the people who are prone to desiring the lie, they want motorcycle noises. They want their ears to be tickled. They don't want to be responsible, to have to make effort, to follow rules. They want to be entertained. They want to be told that they're okay, that they're good people. But for some of us, it's not enough. That's like a vice. That's restrictive. That's like, doesn't make sense. And so we burst forth. What inspired me to make this is, we read the book of Revelation and we're like, well, what order? And there's confusion about, if there's going to be a rapture and if he's coming to rapture the people before tribulation or after tribulation. He told us why everything was going to be conveyed in parables that would cause confusion. Is because the people don't want to have to repent. But if they see the truth, they understand it, then they're forced to repent. And God is not a God of force. So he doesn't want to force that on them if that's what they don't want. And so he's going to reveal it to those who don't want to be forced, who would choose it of their own free will and are choosing it because they are seeking that understanding. Whereas the others like, I don't understand it. It's not from God. Okay. I don't have to pay attention to it. I can go on my way. Good. That's the intention. That's what you should be doing if that's what you truly want. Now you go back and you read Baruch, and it states very clearly, there are 12 things that are going to happen in this order: the beginning of commotions, slayings of great ones, fall of many by death, sending of the sword, famine and drought, earthquakes and terrors, wanting, multitude of specters and attacks of Shadim, which are evil spirits. People have been reporting this like at greater amounts in their homes that I have never seen before. Fall of fire. So now fire's going to start coming from the sky. Rapine and much oppression. So the violent seizure of property. Wickedness and unchastity. Confusion for mingling together of all of those aforesaid. Everything all at once, basically, is what's going to happen. Only those, he said initially, in that land will be protected And then he goes on and he says that all those who plant fruits in Torah will be protected during that time. And there are a lot of people that believe that it will be an exodus, like we'll be in groups, we'll be living, in very rural areas and isolated and protected from it all. So only when all of that happens and then it comes to an end, like through it, Hamashiach is revealed gradually. But then at the end of it, and I'll describe it how it's described. So, Behemoth shall be revealed from his place, and Leviathan shall ascend from the sea. They shall be food for all that are left. So, it's kind of like suddenly there's this great feast. The earth will produce 10,000 times. So every fruit tree out there is just going to be overburdened with fruit. And all of this good is going to happen. And that's when the Messiah reveals himself. And that's when the unrighteous, those who are unrepentant, they see that we're being protected. And they're like, I don't care. I don't need that protection. I've got my God. I'm going with that. And then all of a sudden, the entire earth turns beautiful and everybody's fed. And that's when they understand. That's when they start to waste away even more. They refuse to partake. And so the earth is budding fruit before them. They can't partake of it because they refuse. They're making vows. I don't care. I will not be obedient. But all of a sudden, there's all this fruit in front of their face and they will not be able to partake of it. So, that is the consummation of time. The unrighteous shall waste away all the more, for they will know their torment is come, and their perdition has arrived. And so, we do not have to sit here and speculate and ask about the book of Revelation, about whether or not there's a rapture. There's not. When he comes, all those who fell asleep in death, with the hope of him, will rise. They'll be on equal ground. They will be rewarded, and those who came last will not be aggrieved. They will not get less. It will all be the same. And every day they will see marvels. And people will behold marvels every day. There will be wind every morning, and the dew of healing every night. And that manna shall again descend from them on high. And the manna, we know, preserved the Israelites through their 40 years wandering in the desert. And so, how did people survive the wilderness? Well, the manna. There's something about the manna. And if you read through and you go listen to things about the Anunnaki, there's a fruit that makes their lives long lasting when they eat of it. And I would say that is the fruit of the tree of life, the manna from heaven, because they wanted to bring that to the earth so that they could live on earth, but it wouldn't grow on the earth. And where it did, they only let certain people partake of it, and yada yada. So this manna from heaven is a very real thing. Like, you'll see people in the big organizations, the World Economic Forum, they're talking about how they've created a pill that you take it every day like your morning vitamin, and so for that 24 hours it lasts through your system. Your body is your card. You walk up to your door unlocks and opens. You want to use your computer, you sit before it, but nobody else's will work. And if you refuse to take the pill, you can't get into or leave your house. You can't work your computer. So that manna is going to be the real idea, where you live to see the next day. If you partake of this manna, you get the long life. Not that it's a daily thing, but just what they're imitating, their cheap technological imitation of the manna, is this pill that you would take and you would be able to access your resources and things like that. Which, now that reminds me, there's a movie, I have no idea, it was like one of those cheap sci-fi movies, where the people only had so much time, and they would barter their time. They would sell hours and minutes and stuff like that, and so they could gain more life if they took more time. But, by a certain age, they'll just drop dead if the time on their wrist expired. And so that's what mankind is endeavoring to create. And the people were closed off. Like in the Hunger Games, there were different groups where the people at the elite and with the capital, they had unlimited funds, like millions of years. And the people on the poor side only had, I think, 25 years, like, or on their 30th birthday, they would drop dead. And so it was a son struggling to get time for his mother, and then they started, stealing time and stuff like that. Speaking of stealing, it's like so many of us are accused our entire lives of being too sensitive. Like, people make promises and then they go back on them. And a lot of us grow up with that, with parents who say, oh yeah, we'll go here, we'll go do this. Or like, oh, work came up, they don't fulfill their promises. But in the book of Barak, Yahweh is speaking to Barak and he says, well, isn't the person who doesn't fulfill their promise, doesn't that make them a robber? Isn't that robbery? Like, this is common sense. We all know this. And it's just like a justification for my soul. Like, when someone says, okay, it's going to be like this and I'm going to fulfill this, this is the way it's going to be. And then they go back on it and my heart clenches in my gut. I feel robbed. And that's something that they would just take for granted. Like, people think, oh, they're so tedious over there. They follow all these customs and, socially, like, we don't want any part of that. That's just too complicated. No, that's the seriousness of the Middle East. That's when one word, and it's ironic that the United States, when it first began, people had sayings like, them's fighting words. And if somebody used their mouth to say something really foul about you, you were justified in shooting them even in the back. You impugn somebody's honor verbally, you were allowed to kill them. What? Oh, it's a little stem. She's stuck on a little stem. I gotta go rescue her. But yeah, and now the things that people say to each other online, like, They abuse their freedom of speech. With speech comes responsibility. If you assault somebody, and I've said this before, it's a sound weapon. Whatever comes out of your mouth physically hits somebody's ear, causes a physical reaction within the body. It is a physical weapon. Just as much as a bullet. Something physical leaves directed by somebody, that's murder. Something comes out of your mouth. You need to die, you need to kill yourself. That's murder. And people today are just murderous as fuck. Murderous as fuck. The things that come out of their mouths, like no consequences whatsoever. And they think that's okay. So yes, there is no confusion on the series of events that are coming. You just look it up. What's the next thing? Okay, we got the spirits. Next, fire from the sky. Well, there's a whole lot of places burning and flooding, everything all at once, and people are saying, well, it's people, it's the Anunnaki, it's aliens, it's this. No, that's our Creator directing his people, not of the earth, are called angels. So, yeah, it's by his direction, by his consent. I mean, it may be ones that, he's going to do away with, because they were only created for this time, and they really do hate us. Well, he's going to use them. It's all under his control. It's all cool. Root yourself. Produce fruits in the Torah. And you got nothing to worry about it. Nothing to worry about regarding it. I know I slur all my words together because the concept comes and the mouth doesn't move fast enough. But again, these are things that you wouldn't normally have to explain anyways. We could be like treants. Say a word once a day. Get our point across. After a week. It's all okay. Cool. So, hope that helps. If you want to go find out exactly what the series of events is being described in Revelation, it's in 2nd Baruch. Just like that. But, to be fair, it was sealed up till these times. On purpose. All because our Creator wanted it that way. But again, to be fair, so that those who really don't want to be cooperative don't have to. It's their free will. It's their freedom of choice. And as long as all their friends are suffering, and that's the predominant thing, then they're going to do it too. And they're going to relish and revel in it. Oh, we're such victims. We're such victims. We're being persecuted for our God. And then all of a sudden, oh, we can't control all the food, where it's coming from. My God. Everything, all the poisons, all the toxins, all the boundaries, all the reaping of the land, and the fruit's still growing up absolutely everywhere. Their God isn't as powerful as they thought it was. And that's when it will finally hit them. Boom. That sucks. But I think a lot of people are going to come to their senses beforehand. Definitely. Definitely. Alright.